Okay, this is a video specifically for, my sister and my nephew, but I realize I got a bunch of people, dads that have young kids that follow me on Twitter, and so thought I would make this a public one to maybe help you guys in your training at home and when you get to the cages on the weekend. So this is a young boy, 10 years old. He does a lot of really good things in this swing. There's a couple of things he doesn't do so well, but I thought it'd be nice to highlight, the good things he does with his stride, because one of the difficulties I have with teaching young kids to hit is a stride that's both efficient and purposeful. And what I mean by that is, we don't want to have a crazy leg kick at this age because it just kind of sets the train down the wrong path in so many ways potentially. The flip side of that is it's potentially really good, but it's very difficult for a youngster to be consistent with his leg kick. This kid has, I would say, a higher than average leg kick, but it is efficient. He kind of just picks his foot up and puts it down. So I thought, because my nephew was struggling with this, that maybe somebody else could get some use out of it. So this is just a pretty standard stance. He already has his barrel slightly loaded forward. Um, he also has a better than average, I guess, starting or baseline lever. You'll see that extend. That's one of the things he does really well. So why don't we just dive into this a little bit and point some things out as we go that would be helpful. Now, I talked about the stance. It's slightly open too. I really like that. One of the things that I run into trouble with some of my older kids is if they land closed, it's really hard to, have them continue to turn through the ball. Because even though they land closed, they can still roll their ankle. You're still cutting off a few degrees of freedom to turn, and I don't like that. So the fact that this boy is slightly open, it tells me a couple of things right away. That he is going to try to definitely pull the ball if he can, and we'll see if he has some posture getting over the plate. That's hard to do at this age. They don't have the core strength. This is another thing that my nephew is struggling with. Not struggling, but he hasn't been able to master it yet. We'll put it that way. They just don't have the core strength to support, their head over their chest, inside their knees towards the plate. But keep trying, keep trying. It'll get there. So see this boy's stride. Very comfortable. There we go, right there. Okay, so when he picks up his leg here, I want you to notice a couple of things, and this was apparent with one of my varsity players last week. Okay, his rear knee, I should say, um, will not leave his foot, which means it will not cross that line there. Okay, it kind of stays above the ankle, and that's accomplished by having a comfortable stance where your knee starts inside your foot. If your knee is directly above your foot, you leave yourself some trouble that we talked about earlier with a big leg kick. It just too many things have to go perfectly right to hit the ball correctly when you have that happen. So it's better just to pick up your foot and put it down. Now, one of the things you can use to help you do that is a posture pod. They're like $4 or $5 on eBay. Or if you don't want to spend any money, just throw a glove underneath the player's heel and the rear side of his the rear of his foot, the front foot. I'm sorry, the back foot, as well as the this side here, so that he's able to, when he picks up this foot, he's going to fall forward. That's a lot of error. So let me get rid of that for you. So if you put a glove underneath here or a posture pod in the right position, when you pick up this foot, then the body will fall forward and to the ball as it should. Hopefully that makes some sense. Okay, this boy clearly has had a lot of drilling and does this very well. So when he picks up his foot, you're going to see a couple of good things happen. Watch his lever here. He's going to take this lever here and he's going to create. Oh my! You guys all know that I'm terrible at these curses. I apologize. So he's going to take that lever and it's going to stretch into the stretch position at load. I love this. Okay, you'll see how his arm is flexed there and then it straightens up. Not great, but pretty darn good. Now he kind of bat wraps his barrel load. I don't particularly like that, but it's still accomplishing the same thing, which is trying to create that angular velocity through the zone in an efficient manner. So I don't like how he's behind his head, but it's not the end of the world either. Just a preference thing, okay? So we'll clear that up and move on to the stride foot plant, okay? There's his toe coming down, and he does, just look at great hips this boy has here. That's one of the other things I wanted to point out. When he comes down to load, his hips start to fire. I mean, if you read his belt, you can see that his hip is closed right here, okay? And then you're going to see his belt just open up right there. See that? I mean, that tells me that his hips are opening first. And that is such a crucial part of learning how to hit correctly. I have so many kids that either don't hit on two planes or don't fire in the proper kinetic sequence, or worse, both. And it's very difficult. I always say my hardest job is telling guys that have had success doing it their way that if they want to hit elite quad A pitching or play in college, you're going to have to change, because nobody hits the way these guys are hitting. They hit this way. And this is, I guess, one of my a fine example of my love-hate relationship with travel baseball. On one hand, this boy is obviously getting incredible instruction, so that's a good thing, and that is available with certain travel baseball organizations. But there's so many that they just pick you and have you go and play, and you never learn a damn thing. And then I get you in high school, and you're like, well, I played for so-and-so, I played for this program, and the kids just can't, they're not going to be able to hit high-level pitching. So that's, Exhibit 4000 on, any knowledgeable baseball coach's love-hate relationship with travel baseball. It really is a necessary evil, I guess, but at the same time, there are some good things helping certain players, and this kid's definitely getting some of that. So I just wanted to point that out because I love seeing that, okay? You're also seeing what we talked about earlier. He is making an attempt to hit on two planes. Not a great one. Okay, there's the first plane. There's the second, over the plate. He's trying to get his head over the plate as best he can. And that's good. This kid probably won't be able to cover the outer half of the plate, but again, he's only 10 years old, so hitting is a destination. It's not a, it's a journey, not a destination, so he'll learn how to get there later. And but there's a lot of good things going on here, and let's move on to some more. So we talked about the hips opening up. I keep doing that because it's such great hips for a young guy. If I could get my nephew Holden to do this, he probably wouldn't be allowed to play coach pitch and Collier, because he already is very, very strong for a 5-year-old. So we see that great hip, and now it's stride foot plant. Of course, we always look at when that heel comes down, okay? We see what we call the power L, okay? Mom, Aunt Cassie. We see that power L underneath that hand there. Again, my cursors are bad. And then you're going to see him pull with his front shoulder. So there's the power L, the back elbow, close to his body, L. There's the great lever, the arm bar we talk about. That's all great. Holden does a very good job of that, okay? We're seeing pretty good back knee drive. This player will actually pick his foot off the ground, will get his rear foot off the ground at impact. I like that too. And then we're going to see good front side pull with his shoulder, and this is going to be key for hitting off speed pitching when he's older, maybe when he gets to be 15 or 14 years old, okay? So all good things happening there. And you'll see this player pull to the ball and stay flexed at impact right there, okay? You'll see that the top hand is slightly flexed and the bottom hand is almost completely flexed in that power L position that we talked about. 1, 2, there, okay? And you'll see the back foot kind of jumps into the ball, which is okay. It's not for everybody. He's hitting off a stiff front leg at impact. That's also good. It's good timing, okay? And then watch at the end here, he'll just decelerate with more degrees of freedom. A good extension post-impact. That's important. Make sure it's post-impact. Saying down the line, his shoulders continue to turn. And I'd like to point out that when that's happening, you're going to see a couple of things, okay? And for those of you that have heard this before, it's because it's so important, and I say it all the time. That will roll, okay? And the front foot is a window into what the hips are doing. And this boy is doing a lot of good things with his hips. You see good back knee drive there and good turn. He's on two planes, not a lot, but enough for a 10-year-old, okay? And lastly, let's look at the decel, because the body will only accelerate as fast as it can decelerate. And there you see that boy gives himself more degrees of freedom to slow down so that his body is free to move faster to that pitch at impact so that he can slow down afterwards. We'll take a look at it in real time, okay? And that'll be it. Pretty good stuff.